James Cooks.
Hello everybody, my name is James Evanition and I'm hailing to you from Edmonton, Alberta in Canada. I'm going to make for you and show you how to make the world's best Caesar salad. That's not me making that claim, that's from literally hundreds of fans across the world. I keep hearing the same thing over and over. Can I get the recipe? I've tried doing that. Unfortunately, it seems to take a little bit of a hands-on approach in terms of showing exactly what to do. So we're going to do that today. We're going to go through all the ingredients and we're going to show you the technique and show you the finished product. So let's get started. Now, first things first, let's go through the ingredients. Of course, a couple of different lettuces. We've got romaine lettuce. We also have some red lettuce, a red leaf, okay? And now you can use just straight romaine if you wish. I like to mix it up a little bit of different texture and not so much flavor, but texture and then color as well. You could also use baby romaine leaves as well, mixed in with a regular romaine, and that will give you the same effect. Fresh lemons. Here in Canada, we have to import our lemons, and sometimes you can use a lime if you're hard pressed as well. No good chef is worth his salt unless he has a drink going. So we're going to start with that using the lemons. A lemon-based drink, a good old-fashioned gin and tonic. Right? Nothing like fresh lemons for your gin and tonic. Now let's move on with the rest of the ingredients. Fresh Parmesan cheese. I also use dry Parmesan as well, and there's a reason for that, and I'll go into that as we make the salad itself. Of course, garlic is one of the key ingredients, if not the key ingredient. Then your oil. Okay, now there's different oils that you can use. Most people like to use olive oil. Make sure that you taste the olive oil ahead of time because you don't want the oil to be dominating the salad. You can also use even things like sunflower oil, which is lighter. It's very neutral in its taste because we don't want the oil to take over. We want everything else, the ingredients, to give us our flavor. Lee and Pern's Worcestershire sauce. Just a little bit of that, balsamic vinegar, and then we're going to use some mustard as well. You can use dry mustard. I prefer to use like a Dijon, or you can have a stone ground mustard, whatever you like. You could even have mustard with a little bit of horseradish in it, but again, not too much because you don't want to overpower the flavor. Everything's got to blend. And then salt and pepper. Now this is very important. Don't use table salt. If you can, use the sea salts from Spain, right? And then put them in a grinder and you can use them that way. It's not as harsh as the regular table salt. And then pepper. I prefer to use multi-grain pepper. You got black, you got white, you got red, you got green. A plethora of Christmas peppers, right? So anyway, very aromatic in the salad itself. So let's get started. First things first, let's take a sip of our little drink here because that's gonna wet the whistle. Lovely. Parmesan crisps for the top of the salad, and they're very easy to do, okay? There's a story behind this, which my darling wife would love to tell you about, or maybe not. We're going to grate some fresh Parmesan so that we can have some fresh cheese for our crisps. I've got one of these manual graters here. You can do it manually. Make sure you have a sharp knife because you don't want to slip and take off a digit. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly whittle down some cheese here. Now, in terms of how much Parmesan you need for the salad, typically I like to set aside 3/4 of a cup of the dry Parmesan and then roughly about the same amount in the fresh, okay? So I'm going to spill my drink here before I know it. We've got our fresh and we've got our dry. The crisps do not take long. If you preheat your oven ahead of time, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and that'll be ready. It'll only take 12 minutes to cook these. So you grab a little handful, press it down. Same thing, and I do 5 or 6 of these on a baking sheet. They're very easy to do, like I said. Now pat them down. So we'll throw those in there, and we're going to put the timer on. Next, the lettuce, okay? We got to get this separated and washed. Very easy, of course. Take your beautiful sharp knife, that's a knife. Take off the ends. Now, some people love to tear their leaves. You can do that if you wish. Sometimes you might end up with big hunks of leaves, so I like to cut them as well because then you get a little bit more uniform pieces of salad. Use the whole head because that gives you a variety of textures. Again, the larger the leaves gives you the wonderful color, and the inner core of the salad or the lettuce is a little more crunchy, of course. Now make sure your water is ice cold, giving you a nice, fresh, rejuvenated salad. Blending the romaine with the red lettuce. All right, so you mix your salad around there a little bit. I've been making this salad for literally over 20 years. So you can certainly do the same and vary your ingredients to a certain degree. But the basics are always going to be there, very straightforward. All right, let's get a little more Parmesan cheese. We're going to need that for the salad when we finish. Now, when you're cutting the Parmesan, very important, you see the outer core and the inner core. You want the inner, but don't discard the outer. You can hang on to that. Those rinds work great if you're making bolognese. We need some lemon juice. So let's get these lemons going. Bring out the lemon juice. Now, in terms of proportions, depending on how much salad you're going to make, of course, will depend on how many people you're planning to serve. Okay? Typically, I'm going to use a couple of lemons if I'm going to be doing a salad for, say, 5 or 6 people. If you want, get yourself a little masonry jar. And you want equal portions of juice and then oil. That's actually a fairly generous amount. Put in the equal portion of oil. This is going to be a fairly sizable recipe. Normally I might do half of that, a quarter cup each, but this is more like half a cup each. Salad oil. You've got the oil on top and the juice in the middle, and none will the two mix. Well, there's a solution for that. Mustard. Mustard will help blend those ingredients, and so typically you can put in approximately about a teaspoon, maybe a little more with that size, and then that will help blend the ingredients. Next, we want to have some of our lovely sea salt. And then the pepper. Now again, the multi-corn pepper, I want a fairly generous amount, and I'm going to put some more on the salad itself. And now, the most important ingredient, the garlic. Now, when I first learned how to make this salad, the recipe that I had called for 1 garlic clove. Needless to say, I use a lot more. Too much garlic, no such thing. Just pull off the top, okay? Take the garlic bulb, get yourself a rubber mallet, okay? And then put the mallet right on the bulb itself and give it a good whack, right? Okay? You might have a couple of garlic bulbs end up on the floor, but you know, that's life. The skin from the bulb comes right off at the same time when you strike it, so you don't have to separate them individually. The skin comes off very, very easily. We're making salad for about 6 people. I'm going to use probably 5 or 6 garlic bulbs, right? So some people, ooh, my God, but you definitely need that because that's what's going to enhance the flavor of the oil itself and blend those ingredients together. So instead of having to mince it by hand, which is a real pain in the you-know-what, use one of these. This one's made by Joseph, if you want to look it up online. And this is basically almost like a thumb screw. So what you do is put in your garlic bulbs here, 2 or 3 at a time. No fuss, no muss. Put it in there, screw it down, and it just separates the garlic very quickly for you. We're going to give it another shot. Woohoo! So we've got in here the lemon juice, the olive oil, the mustard, the salt and pepper, and the garlic, of course. Missing 2 key ingredients. The Worcestershire sauce, that's a tough one to say. Just a splash, okay? Now, this one, you don't want to put too much of the balsamic, a little bit of a flavor enhancer, and you don't want it to dominate. You want it to accentuate, right? Lovely stuff. Dab a little behind your ears, right? Your salad oil is complete, and now we want to let that steep. Okay, and we're going to shake that up, the finished product there, and so you'll have a lovely oil. Now this we're going to put in the refrigerator, and you want to let it steep for, well, at least an hour or 2. And our crisps are just about ready, so that's great timing. Get that roll off. So the timer's just about ready. Hey, we've got time for a drink. There we go, right there. Cheers. Nothing like a good gin and tonic. Go online, Tom Macy Social Hour. Fantastic website. Cocktails up the yin yang. You can have a new cocktail every single Friday, right? Call it a Friday special. The timer's just about to go, so I'm going to pull those out. There's the oven mitts. You have to let them cool, but once they cool, they will separate from the parchment paper very, very easily. That's the finished product of the crisps right there. And these go on top of the salad afterwards. Turn off the oven. Okay, so now, time to construct the salad. We're jumping ahead, even though we haven't let this steep, but we're going to throw it together anyway, just to give you a demo. Look at this, we got garlic everywhere. Oh, geez, I wonder who did that. Drain the water from the salad. Use a separate bowl. Put that here. And throw the salad in the spinner and give it a rip. While you're steeping the wonderful salad oil, chill your salad in a bowl. Okay. Now, depending on how many guests you're expecting, you can determine which bowl you're going to use for salad. Here we have wonderful stainless steel bowls. They're very inexpensive. When you've got bigger guests coming, you can use a bigger bowl, right? Where does that? Whatever. It's nice to have a big salad bowl. Today, though, we're going to use something a little fancier from Italy. A bit of character to it. I'll show you right there. Lovely. It's nice to get a wooden bowl. You can season the bowl ahead of time with the salad mix. Some people like to use anchovies and mix it in with that. I am not a fan of anchovies, so I don't bother. I don't use any creams or lotions as well. Just don't like that. It adds calories, not necessarily flavor. This is probably the healthiest mix that we can go with. All right, so we've got everything we need. Let's get started. What else am I missing? I'm missing, oh, croutons. Croutons. You can make croutons if you have the time. Who has the time? I don't. There are recipes out there. I've done it before, bit of a pain, but you can buy whatever croutons you like, so it's up to you. I like to use zesty, crispy croutons that might have a little bit of flavoring, even garlic flavoring with them. And again, not too much because you don't want to over-dominate the salad with croutons. I'm going to put the croutons on first, salad's in there, and let's throw the oil in. All over the entire salad, okay, like so. And then we're going to toss it. We're going to start tossing, okay. Because we've used the salad spinner and got off most of the moisture from the salad, the oil is going to blend in nicely and stick to the salad itself, which is what you want. And the excess oil is going to get soaked up by the croutons. Right? Packs a little flavor punch, right, when you get a crouton. It's kind of like a bonus. I'm going to throw in a little bit of my parmesan cheese, a little bit at a time. First the dry, then the fresh. And then I'm going to throw down a layer of pepper, right? Get it up high, right? Spread it. It's going to mix in nicely. Mix up that salad one more time, because this is a bigger salad, so we got to do literally almost like 2 layers. Now, some people don't like a lot of cheese. I do. Who's right, who's wrong? It depends on your individual taste. Who cares? Again, more pepper. Time to have enough pepper. And toss. Yeah, you're going to get a little collateral damage there from time to time. No big deal. All right, that looks pretty good. Again, a little bit of fresh, just to finish off the top end. And then take your crisps and then just gently throw them around the salad, and the guests can help themselves. And voila, you have a Caesar salad. There it is. I dare you to try this recipe yourself. Take the time to get it right and see if you like it. I'm sure you will. I bet you your guests are going to like it, and they're going to ask for more salad at the end of the meal. So that's my guarantee to you. Hopefully you enjoy it. The reason I do this is to share that goodness throughout the world, because really it's all about the flavor. Enjoy the salad. So long from Canada.